You're a duck on vacation, looking for a place with amazing food, good service, and some of the best music you can find in this hemisphere. There's only one place to go, the town, where everybody is nice. The first season of DuckTales was a wild ride of adventure and family mystery and just references to Disney comics and past. And when we knew season 2 was coming, we expected nothing less but more than that. And we knew from Comic-Con that that was coming, because when the team from DuckTales had their Comic-Con panel at Comic-Con 2018 this year, they showed all sorts of images off of new characters that would be sort of quietly showing up in DuckTales Season 2. And among them were two amazing characters that you can find right here on my shirt. Jose, I didn't look down my shirt. Jose Carioca and Panchito. This is hard to remember his name sometimes. Panchito Pistoles. Two of the three Caballeros. And this is the episode we finally see them in. If you're not familiar with who the three Caballeros are, it's kind of a piece of Donald Duck history. They come from a series of films called Saludos Amigos and the Three Caballeros, two 1940s era package films that Walt Disney made during the war period. These films were a really unique mix of live action sequences and animation, and served as not only just entertainment that cost a little bit less during the war period, but also served to teach viewers about other parts of the world, and Brazil and Mexico, and just broaden their worldview. The plot of the film saw Donald exploring these worlds and introducing them to the viewer, and in a way, Panchito and Jose sort of served as both Donald's ambassadors to these parts of the world, as well as the viewers. But Disney fans mostly just remember it because these characters forged in this film this enduring and fun friendship with Donald Duck. And they had this band, the Three Caballeros. And the song with it became iconic, and it just kind of became a really fun part of Duck lore. So when the DuckTales crew teased that these characters were coming to DuckTales, naturally, everybody was pretty excited. And you know what? The episode they're in is a lot of fun. But it's really not one of my favorite episodes. Let me explain what I mean by that. I don't think it's a bad episode at all. In fact, I really enjoy it. But it's less of a story and lore heavy episode, as it is just a really fun way to spend time with these characters. Donald, Scrooge, and all the kids go to a remote village in Brazil, and they're there to see the blooming of a rare flower. At least that's the stated reason they're there. The other reason they're there, and the reason we're watching, is so they can meet up with Donald's old friends. Apparently, his old college band.
I was one of the Three Caballeros.
Oh yeah, Three Caballeros.
I don't know what that is. What's fun about this is the way it's presenting it, at least is the way that I can relate to it as an adult. And this version of the story and the Three Caballeros and Donald and DuckTales, it's all kind of mashed together in this realistic version of history and being a grown-up. Donald hasn't seen his two friends probably since he was in college, before Huey, Dewey, and Louie were hatched, and before he had the life now. It was when he was young and different. And he's nervous because he hasn't seen these old friends of his in a long time. And when he does see them, they seem to have these really successful lives. And because Donald was so nervous about impressing his friends, it leads into this kind of stereotypical sitcom trope. He feels like he needs to lie to convince them that he's been a success and has come as far as life as they have. You can guess about how well that works out. For some reason, Donald gets it in his mind to tell his friends that he is inheriting the McDuck fortune, and Scrooge is just too old and frail to take care of it himself. Scrooge doesn't like the idea of Donald pretending to be a billionaire, but he does play along, and his acting, pretending to be an old man, is amazing. The extra lines they add to Scrooge's face and his diminutive posture and the extra acting in David Tennant's voice really sell the idea of what Scrooge would be like if he really acted his age. At the same time, Webby, Louie, and Dewey are kind of exploring the town. Webby's really excited to see this cultural festival she's never heard of, but Dewey and Louie are really just kind of being little millennials or whatever the next generation is about it. They're less concerned about experiencing this unique cultural thing than taking pictures of it and proving to the internet that they experienced it. Ultimately, this is some really light commentary on being in the moment versus capturing the moment for social media. But it is kind of fun, especially if you've grown up in the current modern world and seen how much Instagram and sharing things on social media has really become a part of people's lives. I mean, heck, even I'm into it. I'm doing this stuff on YouTube, and I never actually published the series, but when I was in Japan last, I went on this big trip and I spent a lot of time filming things that I intended to put on YouTube. Maybe more than I should have been, when I could have just been enjoying the moment like Webby wants to. Ultimately though, the fun of this episode is really about Donald's interactions with his friends. It's really just a lot of moments of a group of people who really care about each other and like each other, but haven't seen each other in a while. And part of it is them sort of getting used to seeing each other again and seeing how much they can trust each other and open back up about their lives versus being embarrassed about who they used to be. Some of my favorite moments with that include when they start playing music together for the first time to reconnect and start being friends again, or when they all stare each other down at the end of a big meal to see who's gonna pick up to the check, you know? I've done things like that with friends, especially friends I haven't seen for a while, and so it's kind of fun to see them try and break the ice again. Like a lot of DuckTales stories, there is a big mystery here to unravel, and I'm not really gonna get into that here, because I don't really think that's the point of this episode. The point of this episode is really just sort of a study of these great, famous Disney characters and this Donald Duck relationship with the three Caballeros, and having a good time revisiting that relationship from a new light. And I think the episode does a really good job of that, particularly at the end, when it kind of just gets to the climax and does what everybody was waiting for in the first place. It has the three Caballeros sing the song. This is the song the three Caballeros always sing. They sing it in the House of Mouse series, it's in the movies, it's in the ride in Epcot Center. It is the three Caballeros, the song. And the way it does it in DuckTales is fantastic. Because not only does this song integrate into the plot of the episode and help them save the day in the end, and showcase off the new actors doing the roles, who are, if I understand this right, both the proper ethnicity for the characters they're playing, which is actually kind of rare with these characters, but it also uses the sort of fantasy sequence of performing to flash back the style of DuckTales 2017-2018 to match the era of the three Caballeros a little better. What I mean specifically is when the sequence starts, in addition to the great music and the fun animation, the entire color palette of the show gets more vibrant and bright, not only fitting in well with the style of music and the cultures it draws from, but completely changing the color palette of Donald's clothes. And that seems like a really silly thing, what color Donald's clothes are, but in DuckTales 2017, in the reboot, his tunic, his shirt, his sailor shirt, is black. But in the three Caballeros and his traditional appearance, he's got a nice blue. And by tinting it, it allowed them to seamlessly change his outfit back to that blue. And I don't know, something about that, something about watching that sequence was really fun to me. Unfortunately, I don't have too much time available this week to talk about this episode, but for now, it was just a really fun episode to watch. A treat for fans of Three Caballeros and Donald Duck history to just take a breather and enjoy these characters for a moment. I also think it might be tying into something else a little bit bigger. In the last episode, The Ballad of Duke Baloney, there was this tease that Donald and Flintheart Glumgold were going to go on a big globe-trotting adventure to see who had the highest fortune by the end of the year. That usually tied into the old series in the comics, a big, across-the-world adventure, searches for more riches. And this episode doesn't say it specifically, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the background of this story, they're really out on this adventure in Brazil, not just to meet Donald's friends, but so Scrooge could do some research on a business deal. Something in the background might be going on in that competition with Glumgold. But maybe not. that's just a theory for now, a little thing in the background that I like to think this episode might be part of a larger storyline. But on its own, that's not really important. This episode mostly is and can just be a really enjoyable celebration of these iconic characters. And the other thing I love about this episode, it's an excuse for me to wear this shirt. And it's also December, so I can reveal on this channel for the first time, this shirt is actually a Christmas shirt. Viva Navidad. So, with that in mind, thanks for watching this short episode about this episode of DuckTales. Have a wonderful holiday season, and as always, take it easy, Internet.